This radio show might make you cry, will probably make you angry, will most assuredly make you laugh, and is guaranteed to make you think. 3-6 Nation Radio, where no topic is too hot, no take is too cold, with Monica Livingston. 3-6 Nation Radio, in 3, 2, 1.
3-6 Nation Radio, I am Ivan Edward. Looking good, tan-rested, ready, Wohner. Here we are, 3-6 Nation Radio, out of Washington, D.C., in for Monica Livingston. I don't know where she is. I was gone last week. I apologize so much. I was in the land of pirates. It was delightful. I got burned. I got sky-juiced. All good things. We are talking about everything today. Everything that is except, let's talk about Facebook. Elon Musk, there was a story that came out. He wants to buy and delete Facebook. That's an April Fool's joke. The stock price is still too high, but apparently, Mark Zuckerberg, who everybody knows and loves as their favorite evil genius, billionaire, hate child, is going to have to testify in front of Congress for repeatedly and deliberately violating my and your terms of privacy agreements. He recently came out and said approximately 87 million individuals had their Americans, not individuals, Americans specifically, had their accounts scraped by Cambridge Analytica, which is an ongoing saga of political proportions. But in addition to that, almost every user, all 2 billion of us, the world, had their Facebook profiles done by some third-party apps that were accessing it in violation of those terms and agreements. Now, in case you don't know what that means, a lot of people don't know if a company, a corporation violates my rights, right? What course of action do I have? And the answer is, you're SOL, most times. For example, HSBC was charging overdraft fees to everybody, and they ended up having a class action lawsuit where somebody was like, hey, I don't think this is right. And they sent out settlement checks to everyone. I got a check for $50. Now, $50 times 300 million Americans is a lot of $50. Facebook is on the hook, potentially, for $16,000 per statutory violation, and that is per user that had their profile hacked and scoured that they knew about and did nothing to stop. Now, 16,000 times 87 million is a lot of money. So Elon Musk, keep your piggy bank safe. Christmas might be coming, friend. If he buys Facebook, I believe he is going to delete it. He was in a fight with Mike Zuckerberg a few years back. Mike Zuckerberg, Mark. He was in a fight with little Marky Mark over artificial intelligence, AI. And Mark said, I think that Elon Musk, he's said some concerns, but I think his concerns are overblown. And Elon Musk replied back on his Twitter, I spoke with Mark regarding AI. He doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's a child. I just think the way that Elon Musk can throw down the burns and still run a several billion-dollar companies is just the coolest. So a lot of things going on. I really hate Carl Icahn. That's fine. It is 5.6123 times 10 to the 0012 times. That is a lot. That is $500 trillion. That's a lot of money. That's so many zeros. His calculator doesn't work. That is a lot of zeros. 9 zeros. 9 zeros is a billion, right? No, 6 is a billion. 9 zeros is a trillion. 12 zeros is a quintillion, right? It's $5.6 quintillion. Suck it, Mark Zuckerberg. All right. This is 3-6 Nation. We are excited to be here. We're going to talk all things politics. We're going to talk all things sports. We're going to talk all things America. I want to salute you with love. But first, we are going to take a commercial, and then we'll be back. And
thought about launching a broadcasting career? Think you have what it takes to become a broadcasting professional? Learn the skills that will make people want to tune in. Join Monica Livingston, radio personality and owner of 36 Nation, for a career development workshop on what it takes to be a radio DJ, sportscaster, and news anchor. Find out how the former DC diva and owner of 36 Nation manages her own live internet radio show. Sign up for a workshop today, where Monica doesn't just share broadcasting tools, she puts you on the air.
we're back. All right. So in case you haven't been following, America is gun happy. And one of the best investments that you could have made 10 years ago was the gun manufacturers. Unfortunately, Remington, maker of models such as guns, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. The reason they went bankrupt is they owe $500 million. They have almost $1 billion in debt. They have like $500 million in loans that they took out trying to cover some things. Crazy amounts of debt. And the reason why they overextended themselves so much, in fact, was they thought Hillary Clinton was going to be president. Historically speaking, when Democrats are presidents, the price of guns shoots up because people believe that the regulations are going to increase, and so they got to get their hands on some firepower. Now, they expected a 32% bump, the Clinton bump, and unfortunately, your boy DT was elected president. And so, bad news for Remington. All the guns in the world won't save you from a culture that says, hey, we've got nothing to worry about. So, womp womp. In addition, we had the school shooting at Parkland. We're going to touch on that for a second. I'm not going to talk about Parkland and their clear see-through baggies. I'm not going to talk about Parkland's National March for Our Lives, which happened 2 weeks ago just down the street. I'm not going to talk about the congressperson in Maine who he was running for Congress, who was attacking these women, calling her a lesbian skinhead, and had to drop out. I'm not going to go into any of that, because there was a more fun and more exciting story. Laura Ingraham, and I don't actually talk about other media specifically. I talk about like New York Post or Washington Times or vice versa. But I don't talk about other media personalities very often. And the reason why is I don't like calling people out by name, because I don't want them calling me out by name, because I'm not going to be able to defend myself, because this is television. But I'm going to do it right now because this is hilarious. Laura Ingraham attacked the Parkland shooter, one of the young men, making fun of him for not getting into the college that he applied to. And if you are an adult radio host who has a massive social media following and a giant platform, the thing that you should definitely do is make fun of a kid for not getting into college after he was a school shooting victim. As a result, the child wrote back on his Twitter. I'm not using the FB anymore. The child wrote back on his Twitter, I'm not going to come down to your level, but me and my friends are going to boycott your advertisers. And 785,000 Twitter followers agreed. And 12, I believe the number is, 12 of her sponsors of the Laura Ingraham show on Fox sold their time slots. They bailed. These include Nestle, Johnson & Johnson, Bayer Aspirin. Like, these are like real companies. And they pulled out. And the world is melting down. Laura Ingraham tried to apologize. It's too late. You don't make fun of kids. Fox News their executives said, and I quote, "You don't make fun of kids." Roger Ailes, who is 87 years old, suffering from a broken back after he sustained an injury on his son's yacht, because that happens, is mad as hell, saying that nobody's taking reins over there at Fox News. We give them no scalps, is what he wanted. He says they're being, he used the P word, the grab them by the, I don't want to go there. He was very upset with his executives over at Fox News. But my favorite story in this whole misagog is Mr. Larry Elder. I don't know if you guys know who Larry Elder is. Larry Elder has been on the radio and television since I was a child, right? He's Larry Older now. He's been around since the dawn of talk radio. And he wrote this article that says, if Fox News' Laura Ingraham goes down for bullying, you're next. He says, what did it cost her? Well, it cost her advertisers. The punishment doesn't fit the crime, he says. All right, first of all, the punishment is that billionaires and their corporations don't want to be associated with you. That's not a punishment. That's an exercise of capital. In capitalism, this is a lesson for you kids out there. In capitalism, the thing that people use to control the marketplace is money. Their buying power, right? People say, well, if you don't like it, don't buy it. That's what they say. And so, when in this instance, everybody says, hey, we don't like this and we're not going to buy the people who support this. And those corporations said, well, then we will sell to other people because we want you to buy our things. That's called the ramifications of your action. You play in a capitalist system. You have to play by the rules. You can't have it both ways. If you want people to support your show, you have to say things that they agree with. You have to say things that their audience agrees with at least. You have to say, I have a product and an audience watches this and I want to sell to these people. I want to be associated with this person. If O.J. Simpson came out with a model of leather gloves, I'm not going to be on the advertising train for that one. I don't want to be associated with OJ's skin wrappers. I don't feel comfortable associating myself with that. Apparently, Johnson & Johnson does not feel appropriate sponsoring a television show that makes fun of kids. But and here's the fun part. This is the least offensive thing that Laura Ingraham has said like this year. Laura Ingraham has gone off on everybody. She says vile, horrible things. She attacks people. And she uses words like anti-Trump and deep state. Like those words mean things. To be anti-Trump, in case you didn't realize, means to be pro-democracy, right? To be deep state means you work for the government for longer than 3 years, which I'm assuming everybody here has because they didn't just get their jobs. And so when we talk about these people saying and doing crazy things, supporting positions and neo-Nazis and the David Dukes of the world, they're always their argument. And it's Laura Ingraham, and it's Sean Hannity, and it's Donald Trump, and it's Larry Elder. They use this tactic called whataboutism. Whataboutism says, yeah, I might have done this, but what about fill in the blank, right? What about when Obama? What about when Larry Elder? What about this? What about so? Nobody cares. We're looking at you, we're looking at what you have done, and we're saying we don't like this. Are we not allowed to? The teachers in Oklahoma walked out. They staged a massive walkout because they have no labor union, they have no money. There is literally crumbling books that children are reading from, holes in the floors and ceilings of their classrooms. Teachers are being paid so little, they have 3 and 4 jobs just to make ends meet. They said, we can't do this anymore, and they staged a massive walkout. And you have these people saying, no, if you're so mad about it, don't do it anymore. Well, they did it. That's what they decided. We're not going to do this anymore. And then you decide, well, you're going to sue them for violating. You can't have it both ways. You can pay people what they're worth. You can do what you're supposed to do. You can treat people with respect. Or you can go through a perfectly, as you've structured it, capitalist market-driven system where when we don't like something, we stop doing it, and the market should respond. When you say things that are bad and the market responds, don't get mad because it's censoring your free speech. It's not. It's responding to you as a public entity and a product. Hate you. All right. Woo! Had to get that off my chest. This is a good year if you are a cereal fan. Kellogg's. Can I ask you a question? Have you eaten Lucky Charms recently? No. Have you eaten Frosted Flakes recently? No. Have you had Trix recently? Okay. All of these things used to be delicious, and then we grew up. True story. The problem is that when we grew up, we brought our adult sensibilities to kids' foods. And in the past 5 years, really, and I'm not going to say this is good or bad or whatever, it just happened, there's been a push to make sugary kids' cereals healthier. Trix stopped using artificial flavors and colors. Cheerios added more protein, and they're now gluten-free, which I'm really appreciative because I am celiac. I have celiac disease. Frosted Flakes stopped, we use 1/5 of the sugar that we used. Like, it's so little. Like, everybody's trying to do these great things. Sales for cereal plummeted. Nobody likes unsweetened cereal. If I wanted shredded wheat, I would buy shredded wheat, but I don't. And so this year, Kellogg's just announced they're going back, baby. Trix, artificial colors, artificial flavors. You asked for it. I feel so sorry for all of the things. Yeah, it's coming back to the good stuff. Cinnamon Toast Crunch, boom shakalaka. Lucky Charms will have marshmallows and extra marshmallows. They are going back to those delicious times of the 90s where everything we ate was bad because we didn't care, because it's comfort food. Do you guys remember the Double Down burger? KFC had it was a burger. It was 2 patties of chicken with cheese and bacon and a special sauce in the middle. It was a burger made out of chicken. I know the guy who invented that looked at all of this stuff and he was mad and he's like, you know what? No, how about this? How about we make a burger out of chicken? No, what if we make a burger out of chicken? Yeah, we're not even gonna use bread. We'll use the breading of the chicken. That's the only bread we'll have. We'll stuff the chicken with cheese. How will they hold it, Tom? There'll be a wrapper. It's like a wrap. So it's a wrap? No, it's not a wrap. It's a burger stuffed with cheese and bacon and special sauce made out of chicken. Suck it, Burger King. Burger King came out with what was it? It was disgusting. It was like a Mighty Mac. It was like a Whopper. It was like a triple Whopper. It was like a Whopper inside of another Whopper, and you opened it up, and there was like a little Russian nesting dolls of Whoppers just forever. Crazy times, right? Then Taco Bell came out. They're like, we're going to make a taco made out of Dorito shells, and the Dorito shells are going to actually be imported from little children who have diabetes. Like, it was just the worst era of our century. But we're going back. We're going to dip that toe back in the foot because, as I said 5 minutes ago, this is capitalism. Enjoy yourself. We are on, in case you did not know, YouTube Live. So if you are watching us live, we love you. Thank you. You can also catch us on 36Nation on Instagram. It is 3_6_nation. You can catch us on Twitter at 36Nation. All of the things. Come and be our friends. We love you. Comment, tweet, yell. Give me your tired, poor, huddled comments yearning to break free. There are, you know what? No, because this is America. I don't know if you guys have seen, I was over at the Cherry Blossoms this morning. The most beautiful thing in the world is watching Washington, D.C., end of March, beginning of April, full cherry blossomed, exploding with pinks and whites. And in the background, you have a 20-foot-tall effigy of Jeff Sessions wrapped in chains while people shout, "We want our country back." I love this town. This is home of the 36Nation. All right, what else have we got going on? There's a lot of things happening. In case you have not been following the stock market, it went up 250 points, which was a turnaround from yesterday. When it dropped 350 points, which was a turnaround from 2 days ago, which it dropped 700 points, which is a turnaround from last week. When it went up almost 1,000 points, which is a turnaround. You get what I'm saying? It has been a volatile time for the market. They have been a roller coaster ride from hell. And here's why. People have been talking about a correction, a anti-correction, a corrections correction. Is it a recession? Is the trade war going to happen? China just threatened us with $50 billion in trade sanctions. They went to the WTO, the World Trade Organization, filing an official dispute saying that what Trump is threatening to do is illegal and they're going to make official attack sanctions back. If this happens, it's like all these back and forths. It's really crazy if you are a follower of international monetary policy or trade. If you are not, and you are just watching this line go up and down, it means nothing to you. I get it. But this is the big takeaway. Typically what happens is the Dow Jones is made up of the 30 largest companies, and they all get together and say, this is what we're worth. Right now, I believe it's 24,000 change dollars, 24,900 or something like that. It's been really a lot. That's a lot for, the hypothetical one share of each one. It's not one share anymore because they split into, doesn't matter. $25,000 is what a share of all of these companies is worth. A lot of money. But when people get scared, they take their money out. They sell some shares, they put it in someplace else. They're like, I'm going to put it back into my retirement fund. And so you can really judge the mood of the nation and people with money specifically by what the stock market does. When it goes up, people are like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to give my money to Johnson & Johnson. I bet they're going to do really well this year. I want this developments to happen. Blockbuster Video, what's that? No way, Jose, and take my money back. And so you have these companies go up, companies drop, shareholders make money, they invest, Bob's your uncle. We can tell how people feel by what the stock market does. Right now, the stock market wants to go down. But people who have money say, we don't care. Right now, you have this explosion, specifically in Texas, where a lot of people who have been overextended with debt, who have been very upset at the agricultural industry, the oil industry, the regulations. This is the Trump era, And so what they decided they were going to do is dump as much money into the stock market as they can. And every time something seems to happen that drives the stock market down, and regular investors go, oh no. The people who don't know anything about the stock market, for example, a Target manager invested $600,000 in a stock that tracked volatility. He was like, well, I lost all this money, so I need to make it back. These people are gambling with their lives. But as long as everybody keeps gambling, the pot gets bigger. So everybody keeps dumping more money into it, and Donald Trump does something, and his people, the supporters, say, great, let's bring a war! And they buy some more stock. And the people who have money go, oh, this isn't good. That will hurt my company. We should sell our stock so it doesn't do that. But when they sell their stock, it drops that day. And then the people who have no knowledge about what they're doing say, this stock price is cheaper. Let's go to war. And they buy some more stock and it goes back up again. And so you have this up and down dipping of like an attempt at a correction. And then people saying, I've got money, let's blow it. And it goes back up. It's like a bad weekend at Vegas when your friend has your credit card and you keep trying to cut him off. But he thinks that he's on a roll and just around the next corner it's going to happen. This is problematic because it creates a thing called a bubble where the stock is valued here, but the price of it, I'm going to flip that. Stock is valued here, but the actual price is up here, and that gap in between, they should be like this, and they should be flowing. But then sometimes there's a bubble between what it's worth and what it's selling at. And right now, the stock is super inflated, and the fundamentals underneath are only kind of supporting it. And that bubble has to burst. That's what happened in the 2008 housing crisis. That's what happened in the 1648 tulip market crisis. There's a lot of crises that this phenomenon has happened where people were like, let's just keep buying. Let's speculate on this thing. It's not a speculation ride, guys. It's the economy. And while you can make money and speculate if you invest in the long term and you follow financial principles and sound advice, if you are looking to get quick rich, you might do it if you are super lucky, but most likely you will lose your house. which is why we had to bail out Bear Stearns and Goldman Sachs et al. Back in 2009. So we don't want this to happen again. So if you guys are investing or whatever, listen to your brokers. Do what they tell you. Don't go crazy. Don't invest your life away. Or do. What do I know? I don't care. Let's play this game. Let's ride it out. I have no money. It's not affecting me, right? That's what everybody says. It's not affecting me, except it is. Did you hear Uber just killed a guy? Oh my God. Uber, self-driving car, hit a woman who was crossing a road. To be fair, the stop where the road was is a very difficult turn. There's a sign that says this is not a crosswalk, and it looks like a crosswalk. So it's very uncomfortable. The self-driving car was being tested. It was in self-driving mode. And this woman steps out. The car was going 35 miles an hour, kills her.
You know what's
Uber's
cool,
now
though?
been banned. What's that?
You know what's cool, though?
Talk to me.
When a person
Yes.
kills another person while they're in a car,
Vehicular-
that person learns something.
That's true.
When a self-driving car kills a pedestrian, all self-driving cars learn something.
Wow. It's like the Borg. It just knows. It just
That's
got
right.
uploaded
Exactly like the Borg.
into the system. And they
That's
were
right.
like, guys, this will never happen again. This stop, people die there. I remember that one. The collective has spoken. You know what? You know what? That's the best way to look at that. I was gonna talk some ish about Uber for a second, but I'm not going to. I was gonna talk
It's
about
more
their
of a
stuff.
self-driving car issue, isn't it?
But it is. As long as the self-driving cars can collectively share this knowledge and never do that again, can we be mad?
It's not just that intersection either. It's like, oh, we really need to work on that algorithm.
Yeah. And it can self-correct. They use AI, Elon Musk's brainchild and fear-mongering scare tactic, right? They can do this. They can teach themselves. The Google engine just taught itself chess in like an hour.
Of course.
That's how it works. I'm down. Chess is going crazy. I don't know if you guys follow international chess.
That was a good segue.
Thank you. Magnus Carlsen. I don't know if you've ever known someone who was a supermodel and chess prodigy, but Magnus Carlsen is this man.
Wow.
Yeah, he is so good at chess. Magnus. Yeah. Magnus Carlsen is so good at chess. He plays just random events. He loses them almost and then comes back to win. And he's not even like breaking a sweat. They thought he was going to lose this other day. He was having a fight with his girlfriend. They said it was the most trouble mentally that he's ever had because he was fighting with his girlfriend. Like he's blowing away everybody else in the chess world. He is so far advanced. It would be like the Lakers beating the Bulls without a point guard, right? He's an entire piece. You guys don't follow chess. You know what that means. He's an entire piece above all the other masters of chess. It's really crazy. The reason why he is able to do this is because he has a infinitely deep photographic memory. So if you want to follow sports, let me talk to you about the awesomest one ever, Monica. Chess. All right. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. I'm going to delve into something near and dear to my heart, and that is the Russia investigation. This is 3-6 Nation. We will be right back.
Here at Lucky's, we see things differently and we invite you to do the same. With a visual thrill of 8 high-definition screens measuring 6 feet by 8 feet, complemented by an additional 15 HD TV plasma screens at 50 inches, you won't miss a beat, play, or pitch. That's over 50 million pixels of rich high-definition action, allowing you to immerse yourself in a sports experience like no other. While you're here, if it's your appetite that needs satisfying, feast on a meal that only Lucky's can create. Prepared daily, our fresh and diverse selection of dishes are assured to please the most difficult critic. And if that's not enough, try hitting our 3,000 square foot game room and jump full tilt into the latest and greatest interactive experiences. Track your gameplay every time you return, and you can also earn exclusive Lucky's rewards. All this entertainment is backed by a family-owned and operated business with over 30 years of experience, which is why you'll soon understand that Lucky's is more than just luck. Be sure to visit Lucky's Sports Theater at 7027 Manchester Boulevard in Alexandria, Virginia.
Come on, hustle, 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 hustle. Get your head in the game. Come on.
Are you setting the right example for your kids?
Are you even trying? The ball's down there. What are you doing? You need to get some confidence.
Come on, hustle up, get up there.
Reviewing last year, ad revenue has declined 15%.
Come on, get your head on straight.
Before your child's next game, ask yourself, how would you like it if they copied your behavior?
There are many ways which we can improve.
That's for sure. You need to get some confidence.
Positive Coaching Alliance has valuable tips and tools to help our kids perform their best while keeping sports enjoyable for everyone. Their development zone is a great resource for parents like us. Positive Coaching Alliance, creating better athletes, better people. Learn more at positivecoach.org/Fox Sports.
I love how USAA gives me the peace of mind and the security just like the Marines did. At one point I did change to a different company with car insurance and I was not happy with the customer service. We have switched back over and we feel like we're back home now.
The process through USAA is so effortless that you feel like you're a part of the family.
I love that I can pass a membership to my children and that they can be protected. We're the Williams family and we're USAA members for life.
Call USAA today to talk about your insurance needs.
It's about respect. Respect for our teammates, respect for our fans, and respect for our game.
It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. On this team, we're a family.
Racist, sexist, and homophobic language have no place on our team.
We pledge to make our locker room a safe place for everyone.
No matter your race, religion, or whether you are straight or gay, if you can play, you can play.
Thought about launching a broadcasting career? Think you have what it takes to become a broadcasting professional? Learn the skills that will make people want to tune in. Join Monica Livingston, radio personality and owner of 36 Nation, for a career development workshop on what it takes to be a radio DJ, sportscaster, and news anchor. Find out how the former DC diva and owner of 36 Nation manages her own live internet radio show. Sign up for a workshop today where Monica doesn't just share broadcasting tools. She puts you on the air.
Paul the P-Man Manafort talking Russia. Boom. Comrades, Paul Manafort was indicted in federal court 2 months ago now. It was indictment Monday. That was actually at the end of 2017. He was one of the first ones. Crazy happenstance. His lawyers have been arguing nonstop that this is a witch hunt, that the charges that have been filed have nothing to do with the 2016 campaign, which is exactly and only what Robert Mueller III, triple sticks, we like to call him in my house, what Robert Mueller III was supposed to be investigating. He is overstepping his boundaries, sir. Good day. And there has been no response. A lot of people have been very afraid. Has Robert Mueller been just a wild goose chase on a hissy fit? Has he overextended his authority? Has he been digging into places where there is nothing to be dug up, right? The DT himself has come out and said, see, this wasn't even about 2016. No collusion. The Justice Department should fire him. Here's the thing. Earlier this week, it's been a long week. Every week is last week for me. Earlier this week, Robert Mueller had to defend charges. It was Wednesday, I believe, and he filed this on Tuesday. Defend why the charges for Paul Manafort had to stick. And in doing so, he lays out a 45-page document of all of the fun things that they discovered, covering Ukrainian oligarchs and money laundering, buying property, setting up multiple shell companies in order to funnel money into the United States without paying taxes, hiding from the IRS, yada, 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 yada. And then, at the very end, he says, this is the actual memo written and signed by Rod Rosenstein, which says, in addition to what you have to investigate, Paul Manafort and the collusion with Russia, financial ties going back, because it establishes what channels could have been used, what people might be involved, when it would have started, who the people and the connections were, what kind of laws were broken, what their patterns of behavior were. It was all connected, and it was in the actual memo of the authorization for Paul Manafort's arrest. Literally, it shut down his legal team, Paul Manafort's legal team. Robert Mueller III is, I don't know, he's like Batman. He has a secret lair and he's doing cool stuff, and I don't know what it is, but I want to be there with him, helping. I want to be your Robin, Robert. I want to be Robin in the investigation. I can't. A lot of other things have happened, though. One, Donald Trump's lawyers. I had a chart of all of Donald Trump's lawyers. There was John Dowd. There was Ty Cobb. There was, his kids got lawyers. There was the one I hate, Jay Sekulow. There's all of these lawyers, and each lawyer it's Sekulow. I call him Sekulow because I hate him. There's all of these different lawyers that do different things in the Trump sphere. And Trump keeps hiring and firing lawyers, trying to find one that will tell him and do what he wants. Hashtag, where's my Roy Cohen? Hashtag, he's dead because AIDS. If you don't know the story about Roy Cohen, we'll talk about Angels in America and how he tried to destroy America later. But Donald Trump is a big fan of Roy Cohen, who falsified evidence and got Ethel Rosenberg executed, which is a whole nother story. In case you're interested in espionage, there was a great episode of Spycast that came out of the International Spy Museum dealing with some of that trial and some of that work by the FBI and that side of the code-breaking side of it. Really interesting thing. So anyway, everything is connected is my point. Donald Trump, Roy Cohen, all the lawyers. Donald Trump is looking for a set of lawyers who will do what he wants, which is make him not in trouble. And his lawyers have either been fired or have been quitting at a rate of so many of them. They are down to just the couple. There is one, I hate John Dowd the most. He's only there because he wants to get a Supreme Court seat. Jay Sekulow, who is a right-wing religious Jews for Jesus convert out of Emory University? No, excuse me. He went to the college founded by Pat Robertson in Georgia, Televangelist University. Crazy things, all of these things. So you have these lawyers who are working together to try to get this Donald Trump guy off. Some of them say testify. Some of them say don't testify. Some of them say give him information. Some say fight tooth and nail. Donald Trump just keeps firing them. They hate each other. They hate all the things. John Dowd was gone. They hired this one guy. Long name. I don't remember it. He couldn't even get in because he had so many ethical conflicts. Just all of these different lawyers. Trump is now facing a dark, deep specter. Do you talk to Robert Mueller? Now, there's two trains of thought on this. One, yes. Trump says yes. It could be because he's just so uber confident in himself, he can say whatever he wants. As he said during the campaign, I could shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue and not lose a single vote. He doesn't think it matters. Let's just get it over with and shut this down. There are people on the no camp who say, if you commit perjury, you will go to jail. So he's kind of caught between, himself and a hard place, which is rough for this dude because he's being investigated for a lot of federal crimes, and there was a lot of evidence piling up. 19 indictments, actually, which is a lot. And it's only been 4 months. Is that correct? 4 months? 4 months. I'm going to say 4 months. Might be a little bit longer now. Time flies. But here's the thing. The Ken Starr investigation took 4 years. How many indictments were there? There weren't. Nobody went to jail on that, right? They ended up getting on blowjob charges, right? We already know the blowjob charges. That was on 60 Minutes 2 weeks ago. We already know the prostitutes. We already know the buying off of people so they don't share things in violation of campaign finance. We already know the violation of your annulments clauses. We already know the international trade deals that are being done by Jared Kushner, who's also under investigation. We already know that his campaign communications, almost people are dropping like flies. If I can put in an application to get that job just for like a weekend, that'd be a lot of fun. I'd do it. Right now, the speculation is, will he fire his chief of staff, John Kelly? And the question is, who would they replace him with? He don't need no chief of staff. He's not going to replace him with anybody. What? He fired H.R. McMaster, his national security advisor. He fired Rex Tillerson, his Secretary of State. He fired the director of the VA and appointed his own personal doctor. He went to his doctor and was like, hey, Mitch, you know how to do the thing? You're in charge of the VA. This is how he does things. If you want to take a lesson from history, talk about the oligarchs in Romania and their history of appointing their personal physicians to a position of power and all of the death that happens. That's 1980s. Here's what I want everybody to remember. 3 days, okay? 3 days is all it takes to change the world. And I'm going to go out on this. This is going to be a long rant, but it's worth it. Jesus Christ died, and 3 days later, he was resurrected, right? And in those 3 days, everything changed for the disciples. Before the resurrection, right? They abandoned him. They were asking, hey, do you know this Jesus guy? And Peter was like, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know this guy. They bailed on him. 3 days later, something happened because they went up and were like, yeah, he's God. Like, you can kill us. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's true. It's all true. They had a change. 3 days is all it takes to change the world. If you don't believe me, the French Revolution, 3 days. Both of them. The invasion of Grenada, when we overthrew their government, 3 days. The 1954 coup in Iran, that was 4 days. It started the night before. Infiltration at night. I think that was a little bit longer. The Arab Spring was a long time. That was. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, but all these things happen very quickly. All throughout history, they always happen in a matter. There was 5 days in Naples. There was 3 days in Hungary. You have a fall of a government. You have a shift, a cosmic shift in how things operate and what we know, just like that. This year, 2018, will be the year of the 3 days. This is my prediction. Sometime this year, sometime in the next 8 months we have left, we will have a 3-day event in which things will be marked as before and after. Maybe it will be a scandal, which will bring everything crashing down. Maybe it will be a power outage, where suddenly everybody becomes friends. Maybe it will be a snowstorm in August that causes us all to re-examine our beliefs about global warming. Something will happen that takes 3 days. If this happens, you heard it here first on 36 Nation Radio. All right. Before I leave, because I love Monica, and she always asks me to do things that are more accessible to everyone, I want to talk about one of my favorite things in the world. I'm scrolling through my favorites on my phone. I do a lot of political research, but I also want to talk about one of the most impressive comebacks of the year, Mr. Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon is a talk show host. He does Saturday Night. He did Saturday Night Live. Now he does The Tonight Show. He's a very middle-of-the-road kind of guy. Back in 2016, he interviewed candidate Trump. He did a little hair tussle. People were very upset for supporting fascism, and his ratings dropped. He's not been a political guy. He's always tried to be an escapist guy, right? He's the kind of guy who wants to play chubby bunny with celebrities, and they stuff marshmallows in their face and then laugh about it. Or, you know, whatever. Yesterday, he featured a Dr. Evil on his show, the former Mike Myers. Dr. Evil, talking about the inside of the Trump administration. And I gotta say, for a guy who's been playing middle of the road for a very long time, it was both a funny segment. It was not nearly as offensive as people could have perceived it to be. It was just like Dr. Evil being evil, taking credit for all of the fun things. The wall, he originally, for example, wanted it to be a moat filled with poison blowfish. But, you know, he got turned down because he's Dr. Evil and his extremes are too extreme. The deportation of the DACA members was too evil for him. I did like that point. But I want to give a shout out to Jimmy Fallon for doing your best to try to rectify your apolitical ways and just being involved. Well done, sir. Other big shout outs go to Saturday Night Live for keeping it real all season. Fun times. I'm very pleased. And to my favorite show, I just want to say it last time, BoJack Horseman, which if you guys know BoJack Horseman, I'm going to say it again. One day, far from the future, they are going to examine the world. And they're going to be like, what happened to America in the millennial generation? And they're going to have this artifact, BoJack Horseman, and they're going to watch it. And it's not going to make any sense, but it will be the Rosetta Stone of our generation, because it is all of the bad things that we have done with all of the pain that it makes us feel, done in such a humorous, satirical way that, to point one little tiny finger on it, my favorite episode is one about abortions, and it's called Blip, Blip, Pew, Pew, in which a rapper makes a song about how she wants to kill all the babies. And controversy ensues, as controversy does. I don't know what would be worse, real life, that happening, or what happened on the show. So you go out and watch it. The creator of Veep, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, who we all know and love. They said, we don't know what to do in Veep anymore. It's not funny. The whole point of satire is to take real things but make them so outrageous and ridiculous that it's escapist. We can't do that with this reality. We don't know how to spin this so that you can feel good about yourselves anymore. Sorry. We're going to go watch Painting with Bob Ross on Netflix or something. My suggestion to you, take your time, make a drama about a president who is super responsible and has hard decisions to make, and in this face of overwhelming political and social pressures, does the thing that he believes to be right again and again, and sometimes it costs him, and sometimes it's the wrong thing, but more often than not, it works. Kind of like The West Wing meets Breaking Bad, except without drugs. This is Ivan Wohner. I am out. We are going to go. I will see you next week. Monica Livingston, I don't know where she is. She just texted me. This is actually from Monica. Let me read it. Hey, Ivan. I'm sorry I forgot to tell you I'm out. Knock 'em dead. Ivan Wohner, Monica Livingston, 3-6 Nation Radio. Boom!
Coming